so most of the work leading up to the 2 inversions that we'll practice is going to be targeted on lengthening the hamstrings and opening the shoulders. In order to successfully come fully up into headstand, the hamstrings need to be pretty loose. And for shoulder stand, of course, we want to be able to get the shoulders as close together underneath the body when we lift up, so that kind of the musculature of the shoulders and the upper back is what's really supporting you, not the spine or the neck. So we want to work on gathering the shoulder blades behind us, okay? So take any comfortable seated posture that works for you, and let your hands just rest in your lap. Feel your shoulders relax down and away from the ears. And then gently close your eyes or take a downward gaze. Giving yourself a moment to arrive here on your mat. It may take some time for your thoughts to settle, for the body to relax into the shape of your seat. Just feeling your physical energy ground down into the floor. Take a brief moment to scan through your own body, just noticing if there are any areas that feel held or tense right now. With so many external stressors right now, it's really easy to let that just come right into the body. And sometimes that's a protective defense mechanism for ourselves, but other times it becomes a habit without even realizing it. So try and let go of any holding in the shoulders, or the hips. Just trying to let your body feel at ease here in this seat. Start to notice the movement of your own breath. Listen to the sound of the air as you draw it in and out of the lungs. Notice your body expand and contract. And if you find that your mind quickly goes elsewhere, it can be helpful to just repeat with your own breath cycle. Inhale, exhale, or breathe in, breathe out. Just to help invite your mind to a state of focus and concentration. Our breath is really the simplest tool that we have for bringing our awareness to the present moment. We always have our breath right now. And we can do this at any point throughout the day, not just when we come onto our yoga mat. We practice it here so that it becomes a habit and a tool that we can then recall when we need it. We'll just start building breath and movement. You can float the eyes open and inhale. inhale, raise the arms up over your head. And exhale, release them back down. Again, inhale, sweep them up and lengthen the back. Exhale, let them release. Once more, inhale, reach up. And this time, exhale, sweep the hands behind the back. Clasp your fingers and roll the shoulders back, gradually opening the chest, extending the arms behind you. Good, and if this feels tight, you can use a strap instead of clasping the hands. Take a few deep breaths in here, just exaggerating that part of your breath a little bit. Really expanding the chest before you exhale. One more breath in. And exhale, release. Good. Uncross the legs and extend them out in front of you. We're going to start with a seated forward fold to loosen up the hamstrings a little bit. Take your hands to the floor outside of the hips and push against the mat to lift up really tall. So straight spine here in staff pose. Engage the lower back and raise your arms up over the shoulders. Tuck your chin and fold forward over the legs. And if the hamstrings resist, just bend the knees a little bit. And you're still going to stretch the hamstrings slightly even with the knees bent. Let your chin move toward the chest still as the neck relaxes. And feel your breath expand into your lower back and the sides of the waist. The next time you inhale, roll yourself back up. Good, let's come into table pose. If you were sitting on some support, you can get rid of that. And we'll take some spinal waves. On an inhalation, lift your tailbone, chest, and chin. Exhale, tuck the tailbone and the chin as you round your back. Again, inhale. And exhale. Continue at your own pace, trying to find the whole range of motion in your spine. And if any other direction of movement would feel good to you, you can go ahead and do that just to help move your back in all directions, waking up that side of the body. Go side to side, some combination of side and flexion. And then we'll return to a neutral table pose. Walk your arms forward and press your chest down toward the mat for half down dog, deeply extending the shoulders and the upper back. Push strongly against the palms and energize the arms. Three more breaths here. And on an inhalation, rise back up to table. So let's step the left foot in between the hands for a low lunge. Right knee down and back. Sink down into your hips here. And then rise up to crescent lunge, lifting the arms over the shoulders, lengthening through your spine. Good, exhale and sweep the arms behind your back, clasping the fingers again. And we're going to roll the shoulders back, gently extending the arms as you reach the fist toward your back foot. Good. Really expand the chest every time you breathe in. And exhale, release the hands, lean down and put them on the mat. Lift your back knee off of the ground for a high lunge. And then hop that foot a few inches closer to the front of the mat. Then press your hips back in space as you extend the front leg for pyramid pose. If your back heel doesn't connect to the ground, just hop that foot a little closer. Feel free to take blocks for this pose if it's a little too much for the hamstrings to fold already. You can bring your spine a little bit away from the leg if need be. Good. Look toward the front of your mat. Inhale. Exhale, bend the front knee and step forward, ending up in a forward bend, hanging over both of your legs. Hold on to the elbows and just let the shoulders melt down. And just notice the difference between the right and left hamstring here. Then let go of your elbows, put the hands on the mat, and walk back to plank pose. Take a deep breath in. Exhale and lower down to the ground. Point the toes and inhale, open to cobra pose, squeezing the shoulders down and back. Exhale, roll down. Twice more. Inhale to come up into cobra. Exhale to let it go. And once more. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release. Good, press back up to your knees, and we'll take that for the other side. Step your right foot in between the hands, slide your left knee down and back. On an inhalation breath, rise up to your crescent lunge, lengthening through the lower back. Nice deep breath. And again, sweep the arms behind your back, clasping the fingers. Roll the shoulders back and reach the fist toward the end of your mat, extending the arms behind you. One more breath in, and exhale, release. Good, lean down, put the hands on the mat. Lift your back knee off of the ground, high lunge. Hop that foot a few inches closer to the front of your mat and then press the hips back as you try and straighten the front leg, folding forward for pyramid pose. Try to really connect your back heel to the floor, and if need be, you can hop the foot a little closer if it doesn't reach. Good, a few more breaths here, just trying to stretch the hamstrings of the front leg. Good, look forward, bend your front knee, and then step that back foot to the top of the mat. Hang over both of your legs here in a standing forward fold. You can hold the elbows again if you like, just feeling your shoulders drape down and release. Now let's put the hands at the shins. Inhale to the flat back position. Exhale and fold. Twice more. Inhale, getting nice and long. Exhale, release. Once more. Inhale and exhale, fold. Good. Let's rise up to stand. Inhale, reach all the way over your head. And exhale, release the arms. We're going to come through a few rounds of sun salutations. You can practice cobra or upward facing dog, whichever you prefer. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plank pose. Deep breath in. Exhale, lower all the way or hover. And then inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Really make any adjustments to your hands and feet that you need to, and then settle into the pose for 5 breaths. One more breath in, look forward. Exhale, step to your hands. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, reaching overhead. Exhale, release. Second round, inhale. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plank. Deep breath in. Exhale, lower down or hover in chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Stay here and breathe. One more breath in, look forward. Exhale, feet to your hands. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release the arms. Once more through. Inhale, begin. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plank pose. Deep breath in. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. One more breath in, look forward. Exhale, feet to the hands. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, reaching over your head. And exhale, release. Good, let's take a wide stance facing the side of your mat and do a wide-legged forward bend. So separate your feet about as wide apart as you would for warrior two. Good, turn the heels out a little bit and the big toes in. We're going to take our hands behind the back once more for this shoulder opening. Clasp the fingers, open the chest, and extend your arms. The next time you exhale, we're going to come to the fold. Send your hips back as you fold your upper body down, releasing the head, and feeling your arms lift up away from your spine. Just continue to focus on rolling the shoulder blades as close together as you can. This is the position that we really want them to be in for shoulder stand. We're going to find that mobility here throughout our sequences. Good, really root through every part of your foot. Strong energy moving all the way up the legs to the hip joints. We're going to stay in the forward bend, but release your arms. Separate the hands and put them down on the mat or onto blocks if they don't reach. On an inhalation, lift your head and chest, walk your hands forward so you're in the flat back position, nice and long through your spine. We'll take a spinal twist, left hand down, rotate, and raise your right arm up. One more breath in, and exhale, release. Flat back position, other side. Right hand down, rotate, and raise the left arm. Good, exhale, and release. Look over at the front of your mat and turn that foot there. Come forward so that you're in a lunge position. For me, that's my left knee bent, but you do whichever side is the front of your mat. Bring the back knee to the floor again. Low lunge. Point those toes here and sink down into the hips. Let's take both arms inside of the front foot. Move it over a little bit and turn the foot out to the side and let your knee fall away from your shoulder. You can stay up here on the hands or fists or bring your elbows to blocks or the floor, whatever works for you in this pose this morning. Wherever you go with the upper body, notice where your shoulders are. And if they're pulling up by your neck, I want you to consciously draw the base of the shoulder blades down toward your hips. Good. If you're down on the elbows, come on back up to your hands. And we're going to move the front foot out to the side even more so you can plant your palms in line for plank pose. Lift your back knee and step the front foot back. Plank, plank. Take a deep breath in and exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Good. From this down dog, just step your other foot forward to the lunge. For me, that's my right foot. Do whichever side you didn't do already, and bring your back knee to the ground. Good. Sink down into your hips. Both hands inside the front foot. Move it over a little bit and turn it out. Great. And let the knee fall away from the shoulder any amount. You can stay up on the hands or come down to the elbows. But again, keep your shoulder blades down and back, away from the neck. Nice, slow, deep breath here as we open the outer hip. Good. If you're down on the elbows, come on back up to the hands. Move your front foot even wider out to the side. Plant your palms shoulder width apart. Lift your back knee and step to plank pose. Good. Deep breath in. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Good. 5 deep breaths here. And bring your feet together. We're going to come forward again into plank pose. Take a deep breath in and exhale, lower all the way to the ground. Once you're there, point your toes and put your forehead on the mat. Reach your hands behind your back and clasp the fingers and roll your shoulders back, extending the arms behind you. And again, you can use a strap if this doesn't work. We're going to come into locust pose. Lift your legs and chest away from the mat. And lift your arms up away from the hips, breathing against the floor. One more breath in, and exhale, release. You can turn your head down to one side and just let your whole body melt into the floor. And we'll take that again. Squeeze your legs together and put the forehead down. Roll your shoulders back and clasp your fingers. Gradually extend the arms behind you. Good, then lift everything up for locust pose. One more breath in. Exhale, let it go. Turn your head to the other side if you like. Feel your shoulders melt down and relax through your lower back and legs. Good, one last time. Legs together, forehead down. Take the hands behind the back and gradually extend your arms. And then lift everything up. Strong through the lower back. Low, deep breath. One more breath in. And exhale, let it go. Good. Head to one side. Let your shoulders melt down. Separate your legs a little wider than hip width and bend your knees so your feet lift up. And we're going to switch the feet back and forth from side to side, just loosening up the lower back. Good, you can lower your feet to the floor. And from here, just press yourself to the back side of your body. So just roll yourself over. And once you're on your back, bend your knees. We're going to come into bridge pose. So bring the heels close to the hips. Lay your arms down alongside the body. And gather your shoulder blades as close together as you can. And this is going to be the same action we do before we lift into shoulder stand. So practice that here. When you're ready, press against your feet and lift up into bridge pose. Good. Press against your palms and your forearms. Feel the chest rise toward the chin. One more breath in. Exhale, roll yourself down and separate the shoulders. Let your back relax into the mat. Take a few deep breaths. And we'll take this again. Get the shoulder blades together. And once they feel close, press against your feet, lift up into bridge. And if you can, clasp your hands underneath you and move the shoulders even closer together. Right, if you were to take a bird's eye view of this pose and look down, we want it to be almost that you can't even see that you have arms. That's how close we're gathering the shoulder blades together. And hopefully you can feel that that draws all of the musculature of the upper back really close together, so that if you imagine yourself lifting your legs over your face right now, which we're going to do in shoulder stand, all of that musculature is supporting the pose. You're not resting on your neck. Good. Exhale and roll down. Separate your hands if they were clasped. And separate the shoulders, letting your back relax. Good. Let's open the arms out to the side in a T position, palms facing up, and separate your feet as wide as the mat. We'll drop the knees back and forth again, little windshield wipers, just loosening up the low back here. Good, and then bring the knees up up, bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees fall out to the side. Recline down angle pose. You can close your eyes here if you like, and just let your low back and your hip flexors completely relax. Take 5 really low and slow breaths. After those 5 breaths, bring the knees together. And we're going to hug the knees into the chest, wrapping the arms around the legs. Just rock a little bit side to side to massage your low back. And then we're going to rock along the length of the spine to come upright. So tuck the chin and just start to build a little bit of momentum, rocking along the whole length of your spine, maybe 3 or 4 times. And then eventually rock yourself upright. Good. All right, so we're going to start our shoulder stand practice. If you do not want to do a shoulder stand today, you have the options of putting your legs up the wall. Okay, so you can move to a wall space, lie on your back, and elevate your legs. If you're doing shoulder stand with me and you have a blanket, you see I have mine folded into a wide rectangle. You're going to make sure there's no lumps or bumps in that, and place it toward the back of your mat, but make sure you've got enough space behind the blanket for your head to be on the mat too, not on the floor, so there's not so much pressure. If your blanket is really thin, you could also take the front end of your mat and fold it over the blanket so you've got 1 extra layer, and that will also help prevent your shoulders and elbows from spreading apart. So I like to do that because this is a much stickier surface than the soft mat, okay? So if you're in this position, and if you are not comfortable putting your legs over your head into plow, you might want to grab a chair, which I mentioned in my email. I've got a little stool here, and I'm going to put that at the back of my mat behind my head, and I'll show you how that can be used for plow. Let me just adjust and make sure that I'm fully in the screen. All right, so most of you have done this with me in person before. You're going to sit down at the front of the mat and lower your back down to the ground so that most of your back and your shoulders are on top of the blanket support, but your neck drapes over the edge and the back of your head is flat on the mat, not elevated. And if you reach your hands just to the top of the shoulders, there should be a few inches of space between where your shoulders end and where the blanket ends behind you. Because when we kick up and over, you don't want your shoulders to fall off the mat. Good, so we're going to kind of lift up into bridge a little bit as a way to get the shoulder blades underneath the back, and then you can bring the hips back down. So I'm already like arching my upper back and opening the chest. And then we're going to do that rocking motion we just did on the spine, but in reverse. So bring the knees in and swing the legs over your head, letting the feet either rest on the chair behind you or on the floor for plow pose. And now before we lift up, I want you to try and shimmy the shoulder blades closer together, and then bring your hands to support in the middle of your back. Good, and you're welcome to stay here and plow if you don't want to lift up into full shoulder stand. If you're comfortable, reach one leg up slowly, and then the other. And as you're here, if it's possible to bring your hands even closer to the shoulders, so higher up your back, and press your hips forward in space to try and straighten out the legs over the spine. Nice deep breathing. If you're not used to practicing the pose and you feel like you need to come out already, lower the feet back to plow pose first, either to the ground behind you or to the chair seat behind you if you took one. If you're comfortable, we'll try and stay a few more breaths. Good. To come out, start to let your hips slide down so the hands are now in the lower back, and then fold the legs over your face, letting the feet come down to the floor or to the chair behind you. Plow pose. Good. Just take a moment here and plow. And then you can already start to wiggle the shoulder blades a little bit apart, and then slowly bend the knees down toward your face and let your back round down toward the floor. Letting my hands slide to the hips to support, just very slowly coming down. Good. Once the hips are on the mat, place the feet down with your knees bent like bridge pose. Untuck the shoulders and just start to slide your body back. So little by little, sliding back. Go far enough back so that your shoulders end up on the mat and the blanket is supporting the middle and lower back and your hips. So a couple of inches. Once you're in that position, open the arms out to the side, letting the palms face up, and just let your shoulders sink into the floor. Take several deep breaths here, just gradually feeling that intensity from the lower back melt into the blanket beneath you. If you chose to put your legs up the wall instead of practice shoulder stand, you can bring the knees into your upper body and roll over to one side. And if you were in the shoulder stand and you're here in this position with me, let's bring the knees into the chest. Hug your knees in, wrapping the arms around the legs, and just rock a little bit side to side, massaging your lower back. Good, and then those of us here, we're also going to roll over to our side, coming into a fetal pose. Just pause there for a brief moment. You can support your head with your bottom arm. Good, and then take your top hand and push up away from the side to lift up. Good, all right, so let's undo the blanket and the mat fold if you had that. We're going to get rid of that. Before we practice headstand, I just want to do a few forward bends to lengthen the spine. So we're going to start with bound angle pose. Take a seat and bring the soles of the feet together. Open your knees out to the sides. Good. Sit up nice and tall, lengthening from your lower back all the way up. Good. Tuck the chin to the chest and slowly fold forward. Take your time. On an inhalation, slowly rise up. Let's bring the knees together and then extend the legs forward. We're going to take another seated forward bend. If If you have a strap and you want to use that, you're welcome to take it around the balls of the feet to give yourself a little assist. If not, you can take the hands to the floor outside the hips like we did to start. Okay, in either case, we're going to start by sitting really tall in staff pose, lengthening the low back. Strong energy out through to the heels. Good, take a deep breath in. Exhale, tuck the chin and lean forward. Reach your arms forward if you're not using a strap and hold the legs. And if you've got your strap, re-extend the arms and hold wherever they reach, or if they come to the feet, you can hold there instead. Good, when you're ready to come up, inhale, and get rid of the strap if you used it. All right, we're going to prepare for our headstand practice. So if you do not want to practice headstand, you're going to take dolphin pose this morning, okay, with the forearms and elbows down on the mat, and without the head touching the ground, press up and back, dolphin. Right, if you want to practice headstand, we're going to all start with just the foundation, which is really the same as dolphin pose. You're going to bring the elbows and forearms to the ground and measure that distance. Clasp the fingers together and tuck the bottom pinky finger in. Only now we're going to separate the heels of the palms a little bit because we want the back of the head to be able to nestle into the open palm space. I'm going to tuck my chin to the chest and then move my head forward so that I'm cradling the back of my head and the very top of my head is now on the ground. And before we even lift the hips, my knees are still on the mat, I want you to practice pushing your elbows against the ground as hard as you can here. And notice what that does to your shoulders. It moves them away from your neck, and it really engages your shoulders and upper back. And my head is on the ground, but there's no real weight in my head, and I don't feel compressed in my neck at all. So from here, we're going to do just the foundation. Tuck your toes and lift your hips up into the air, just like dolphin, but the head is on the mat. You're going to walk your feet closer to your elbows as you really push the elbows into the floor. Super strong energy in the shoulders and the upper back. And so we call this half headstand or headstand foundation. And you're welcome to let this be your practice this morning. If you haven't gone upside down in a while or you're not fully comfortable in the pose, it's a great place to be. I'm going to take a few more breaths here. Good, and then bring the knees down to the floor. We're going to take a rest in child's pose. Take a few moments just to let your body relax and to release some of that intense energy. And then we're going to try that again, and if you'd like to follow along using a chair as the next step, I'm going to take this stool I have, or this could be a chair for you, and put it on my mat, and then you need to turn away from it so that your butt faces the seat of the chair, or you're welcome to go to a wall if you want. So I'm going to bring my elbows back down, find that foundation, head on the floor, the back of the head cradled in the hands, and then press the elbows into the ground, lift the butt, and now put your feet on the edge of your chair and try and draw the hips back in line over your shoulders. So I'm on my tiptoes, legs are extending back. Now I'm like 75% of the way into a headstand, right? Or your feet are on the ground, or you're in dolphin, whatever you're comfortable with. But you're pressing those elbows into the mat. Good, if you're here, take one foot down off the chair, then the other, and rest in child's pose. Take a few breaths. Just let that intense energy melt out of your upper back and shoulders. And we'll try this one more time, this time with the intention of coming up if you're comfortable. If not, take one of those modifications or dolphin pose. And again, you don't have to do this in the middle of the mat like I am. You can come to a wall so that your legs make contact with the wall if you like. So bring the elbows and forearms to the ground, find your foundation, tuck the head there. If you're using the chair like me, you're going to lift your butt and bring the toes to the edge of the chair. Press against the elbows and lengthen your back. Draw your hips in line over the shoulders. And then raise one leg slowly, and then the other one should just start to lift without any effort. Keep pressing against your elbows. If you're up in the full pose, squeeze your legs together like they're one stronger limb. And if you're ready to come out, take one leg back to the seat of the chair, then the other, and then the feet to the ground. Rest in child's pose. Nice work, everybody. Let your shoulders melt. I'm wrapping my arms around the legs for this child's pose to help really release the upper back. So whatever amount of that pose you were able to practice today, just be comfortable with where you are. It's a process, getting comfortable with inversions. We're literally turning our perspective upside down. For 99.9% of our life, we feel our feet connected to the ground. And so to turn that upside down and be on the head can not only be physically challenging, but it can also be mentally and emotionally destabilizing as well. So be patient with yourself. Just practice that a little bit at a time until you feel really comfortable trying to bring the legs up. Good. When you're ready to come out of child's pose, take your hands in front of you and lift yourself up. Good. If you were using that chair, you can move it off to the side. And again, I want to finish with a couple of seated poses just to help counter that intense energy. We're going to start with nose to knee pose. Extend your right leg forward and fold your left knee out to the side. Bring the sole of the foot to the inner thigh. Good. Take your hands to the floor outside of the straight leg and push down against the mat to help you sit up really tall in your spine. Good. Take several deep breaths. When you're ready to fold, tuck the chin, lean forward and walk your arms as far out as you can, and then hold whatever part of that leg you can reach. Take several deep breaths here, expanding to the sides of your waist every time you inhale, and gently melting down every time you exhale. When you're ready to come out, inhale and rise up. And we'll switch legs. Straighten your bent knee and take the other one out to the side. Sole of the foot to the inside of your straight leg. Take the hands to the floor and push against it to lift really tall in your spine. Good, nice deep, steady breath. And when you're ready to fold, tuck the chin down, lean forward and walk your arms out as far as you can, and then hold whatever point they reach on that leg. When you're ready to come out, inhale and lift upright. So we're going to stay with this side, so your left leg is straight. Bring your right knee up toward you and hug the shin close to the upper body, sitting tall. We're going to take a seated twist. Hold that knee with your opposite arm and inhale, raise the right arm up. Twist as you put that hand behind your back. And if you like, you can hold the bent knee in with the bend of your elbow, get a little tighter grip. Or you can cross the elbow outside the knee and press against it to deepen your twist. One more breath in. And exhale, unwind. Other side. Straighten the bent leg and bring the other knee in, sitting really tall. Inhale, raise the left arm, pull against the knee to twist as you put the hand down behind you. And bring the knee into the bend of the elbow or cross the elbow outside the knee. Nice deep breath here. One more breath in. And exhale, unwind. Good, let's come down to the back. Get yourself nice and comfortable. Once you're on your back, hug both of your knees to the chest and rock a little bit side to side to massage your low back. Turn your knees around in a wide circle a few times to massage your sacrum. And then we'll end with happy baby pose. Separate the knees wider in the rib cage, lift the feet and hold the outer ankles or the outside edge of the foot. Nice low, deep breath here. One more breath in, and exhale, let it go. Good, release the feet to the ground, and get yourself comfortable for Shavasana, final relaxation. If there's any props that you'd like to use to support your body, go ahead and do that. Make sure that you feel comfortable and relaxed on the ground. And once you're settled, gently close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Feel your lower jaw release and let your throat and tongue relax. And let go of that deep, focused breath, so that your natural breath quality can return. Briefly scan length through your body. And just let go of any remaining active energy. Let your body melt into the ground.